Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you today? Uh, I am getting the biggest kick. I just I had watched the press conference out of the White House today, and wow, uh, that girl does a heck of a job, doesn't she? But the venom comes out of the media. You know, I'd be showing up with a gun. It's all kidding aside. You know, when she starts answering a question and they don't like the answer, they'll immediately try to cut her off, but she won't play that game with them. Um, so but the venom coming out of the media, like over Portland, is amazing. They've got federal troops, well, not troops, but federal officers in protecting the uh, federal assets in the city of Portland. The violence against those assets didn't end like the mayor is trying to tell people. Now they're trying to say, oh, there's violence in Portland because of them. Yeah, there was violence in Portland and it had been going on for months now. Okay? So knock it off, Mayor. Everybody in the rest of the country knows you're a lying. Yeah. All right? That's number one. And I got the biggest kick out of because I watched the video of this unmarked cop that pulled that one protester in for questioning, primarily because they were looking for some people that injured some federal agents. The problem is that because these kids in the street and the news media, the first thing they should ask for is, can you show us how these guys dress and what's on their uniforms? Their badge numbers are on their sleeve, much like the military was. So it's there. And now, while they muted out the tapes, okay, you would have heard them announce, because the recordings that they were making when they were making these arrests showed that indeed they did announce who they were. So they knew that it was law enforcement. So the media has gotten to the point that they are lying so much. I mean, this isn't misinformation, folks. This is just bold lying. No wonder you got so many of these kids who watch this stuff and get half their news off of the Twitter feeds that come out of this nonsense. No wonder they're confused as a bunch of squirrels. Yeah? No truth in them. Yeah. It's like, for heaven's sakes, what is wrong with these people? Yeah? I would actually like to start seeing something done with an amendment to the First Amendment. That once you are caught repeatedly lying on a subject, okay, and putting out misinformation, you lose your press credentials and thereby lose your First Amendment protections. That's what needs to start happening. And it's probably the only way we're ever going to see an honest media in this country, is if we say, okay, you get caught lying, we'll let the first couple of times slide. Third offense, you're going to lose the press credentials. You're not allowed to even cover the White House anymore. Okay? You're not allowed. Watch another channel to get your information. And you lose your First Amendment protections. That's something. The founding fathers of this country saw the press, the media, as a watchguard against the government. And they have turned into lackeys for the government. Probably 90%. And yeah, I'll include Fox News into a lot of that. They are selective with their coverage also. Very few, and usually they're small independent outfits, are actually true media people. That's what's going on in this country, really, and that's what has led us down this primrose path we're on today. So, yeah, I would 100% support if they wanted to amend the First Amendment as far as the freedom of press. I think good press who reports the facts in a fairly honest way. Um, I mean, you're always going to have some bents one side or the other, but when you blatantly come out and lie, okay, the videotape that they were using to say that these officers were wearing uniforms that did not show who they were, if you looked at the uniform and knew what you were looking for, these guys got their badge numbers right on their shirt shoulders. That's where they keep their badges, by the way. They're a Velcro on badge that has the badge number so that you can get the identification of that particular agent. Federal agents have to maintain a bit more discretion because of who they are and what they are. That simple. It's not like your normal police department where Officer Jones carries his name on a tag. But there is a badge and there is a badge number. The only thing is, it's actually part of the uniform on the shoulder. Boom, there you go. So, maybe this is something we need to really seriously look into. Okay? Organizations like CNN and some of these other news agencies out there, they truly need to lose their press credentials to where nobody has to worry about them anymore. Get decertified because they get away with nonsense. And, I don't know who sets up this media verification that says they're a trusted news source. CNN should not be listed as a trusted news source. I'm sorry. These people do way too much lying. Way too much lying. To be trusted by anybody. But you have a lot of lefties out there. Oh yeah, CNN said. CNN at one point in time was fairly legitimate. That was a long time ago. They haven't been legitimate for years. Decades. Okay, decades. So, and the media keeps getting away with more and more and more. No. It's about time it gets brought to a stop. And verifying that they have lied, one, they should lose their first lie you get caught in. That little verification check mark next to your agency should be removed. So let people know this news agency will lie to you. Okay? On the news feeds and things of this nature, they need to be put down as an unverifiable news source. That'll stop a lot of secondary news agencies from picking up their stories, which would stop some of the spread of the nonsense. Plus, it would put other news agencies on alert that, hey, if we don't want to get our hands slapped, we need to tell the truth. That's it. That's all you can ask for. Just tell the truth. Now, the truth may be against my guy or the truth may be against somebody else's guy. Doesn't matter. As long as it's the truth. Nothing wrong with that. The media is totally out of control. Totally out of control. And the rudeness of them. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I was the White House, I'd put out a press document, send it to them. You have questions, mail them in to us. Now, it's gotten to the point to where there are some respectful news organizations in there, but most of them are just rude, sarcastic, trying to and when they start getting their question answered that they threw out there, they try to cut off the answer because they really don't want to hear the answer. All right, they'll fill in the blanks. Thank you anyway. Media, number one problem. They were raising 18 kinds of cane over Trump not wearing masks. Okay, so the guy kind of trying to shut him up started wearing masks. Now all of a sudden it's why is Trump wearing a mask? All this stuff is voluntary, folks. I'm fortunate enough to live in the state of Tennessee, where we have a governor who understands what the U.S. Constitution is. And we can lock down if we so desire. He did ask that the sit-down restaurants be locked down. Now that's no longer an issue. They've got the social distancing and so forth down in the restaurants. But we've been open as a state. Pretty much we have been open as a state and had fairly low numbers. Even in our larger cities and our tourist areas, I mean, lost a lot of tourism from the thing, but still not high numbers. Not high numbers at all. If you look around you, while they're heavy populated areas, most of these areas that had problems were democratically held. Cuomo probably killed more people with COVID than you can shake a stick at, but he don't want to own up to that. You don't take a bunch of virus positive people and throw them into a nursing home, unless you're looking to empty out the nursing home. The way they're keeping the numbers and so forth now, you can see where it is really becoming slanted to drive up numbers. So the two issues now is Donald Trump's invading armies in Portland. Somebody needs to do an airstrike on that town. Is what drop pamphlet and say, listen, we're going to bring this town to a close. It's going to disappear. Y'all need to get out. It's a mess. Has been a mess for a long time. But yet you have these Democratic leaders, you have these Democratic governors, and it's a mess. Chicago, that mayor up there, nobody's thinking much of that mayor. That has turned into a ghost town. Most of the real money has run. So they're going to spiral even faster into the hole that they've been spiraling into for quite a few years now. Can't afford to live there. Pretty soon they're going to lower their crime rate because even the criminals are moving. Can't afford to live there. It's ridiculous. I don't want to go on long on this thing, but people, we got to wake up. And when all the dust settles, it's really time, really time to take a hard look at the freedom of press. They should be free to gather information. They should be free to share that information. Okay? What they should not be free to do is to lie to you and to lie to me. Once they're caught lying, you need to start curbing them. Maybe one mistake is fine. Take away their verification as a verified news source. Continually catch them lying. It's time to take away their press credentials and to remove their First Amendment rights as being part of the media. It's gotten to this point, you're going to have to do something with them. Okay? You're going to have to do something with them. They're out of control. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.